Hey guys, it's Nicholas here from upgradeToLife.com, and in this video we are going to talk about how to visualize, right? Avoid this one mistake to get results when you do visualizations. So this video specifically is for people who really like it to imagine scenes, to visualize something and to work with their sense of seeing, right? If you're someone that prefers to work with the sense of hearing, then I can also highly recommend you check out the video that I will link above right now, which is called the congratulation technique. This is a really powerful video and method and technique you can use from Neville Goddard's teachings in order to manifest your goals. But like I said, this video is for the people who like to visualize, and I want to make one video about that so that all the questions are like answered and you find everything you need to know about visualization in this video right here. And if you want to find out more about manifesting, you want to manifest your goals and live self-empowered, then check out my free masterclass. That's the first link in the video description, where I talk straightforward with you without any fluff or hype or woo-woo stuff, just straight to the point talking. And if you want to work with me because you want to take things to the next level, you want to apply Neville's teachings to manifest your goals consistently without any like failures and falling back into old internal states, then you can apply to work with me. That's the second link in the video description. And with that, let's just jump into this video and let's talk about visualization. Okay, huge topic in this whole manifesting, creating your own reality kind of realm. And I see there are a lot of ways to explain it, and I want to explain this as nearly as possible to Neville's teachings so that you can just apply it and start today, start right after this video. Okay, so let's hop in. And first of all, I want to give you an introduction first, some refreshers, some reminders for you before we actually look at some quotes and I give you my explanation of that. Right, so first of all, right, visualization is one aspect of imagination, because I put this at the first point because a lot of people, like many people, they still misconfuse visualization with imagination. They think, oh yeah, that's the same, right? I visualize, I imagine, that's the same. But that's not true. It's like that your imagination encompasses basically, or includes all of your senses, right? Whether this is visualizing, which is like seeing, whether this is the touch sense, the hearing sense, the smell sense, right? It's like your imagination is not the same as visualization. So visualization and visualizing something is, like I said, one aspect of imagination and of imagining something. Also, visualization is just another tool to occupy the desired state, right? So don't place too much power on that. Don't think that this is the holy grail. Again, you should use whatever shifts you in your personal opinion, like best in your desired state, makes you comfortable, make you feel that your goal is natural to you. So use what works for you. And the thing is, remind yourself of that you actually manifested your whole life before learning about the law of assumption and Neville's teachings and visualization. So don't think that you have to be super perfect or you need 10 years of practice, right? That is a big point that holds a lot of people back when they think they have to get this perfectly right. Obviously, in this video, we want to learn what not to do and the mistakes that we can leave out to make it easier. But again, don't think that it takes 10 years of practice, right? You can see results after doing this only once or twice, as long as you apply and you continue to test the law. Also, a lot of people are spending too much time asking if they're doing it correctly, like I just said. And this is best for people who are visual types. Right, like I said in the early beginning of this video. If you're auditive, then check out the video I did on the congratulation technique. However, this is for visual people. If you like to see images, if you like to create those scenes in your imagination and experience them where you see something and you focus on the seeing sense specifically, and then that's perfect for you. And now let's dive into some quotes from Neville. The first one I'm sure is the one that you will already know, but then I also included some other ones that describe this even in more detail, right? So first of all, right, you take the simple, little restricted action which implies fulfillment of your prayer and you feel it or you enact it. Whether this is whatever this is, you enter into the action as though you were the actor in the part. You don't sit back and visualize yourself doing it. You actually do it. So do not visualize yourself doing it. Feel yourself doing it. If you're going to shake a man's hand, Do not visualize yourself shaking his hand. Imagine your friend is standing before you and shake his hand. See the difference, right? Don't visualize yourself from like a distance and see you as like on a screen and you watch yourself while you do that. No, do it. Experience that. Remember, imagination is spiritual sensation. So through the sense of seeing, you sense this happening right now, right here, and you actually perform the action. So leave your physical hands immobilized, right? We're here. And imagine that creator hand, that your creator hand, which is like your imaginative hand basically, is actually shaking his hand. So that just is like an introduction. All you need to do is to imagine that you're doing it. You're stretched out in time, and what you're doing, which seems to be a controlled daydream, is an actual act in the creative dimension of your being. You're actually encountering an event fourth dimensionally before you encounter it here in the 3 dimensions of space, and you do not have to raise a finger to bring that state to pass. Really, really powerful. You do not visualize yourself at a distance in point of space and at a distance in point of time being congratulated on your good fortune. Instead, you make elsewhere here and the future now. Okay, really important. You make elsewhere here, right here, and you make the future now. You experience whatever it is that you want right here, right now. Always the goal. I talked more about that in the video that I did, which I will link above right now, called How to Manifest Your Desires, where I talk about the most powerful techniques. You can also check this one out. So the difference, right? Difference between feeling yourself in action here now and visualizing yourself in action as though you were on a motion picture screen is the difference between success and failure. So that is where we're going into detail, right? You don't just like see it and watch yourself doing something or like imagining the scene that implies your fulfillment of your goal. You actually do the scene. So it's like you can only use your sense of seeing, but you see it as though it is really happening in front of you right now. You're not seeing it like from a distance and you see your own body and then other people and the circumstances that you want. No, you really experience it like you experience it through your own eyes. That is what Neville's talking here, right? You feel yourself in action. You feel yourself that this is happening right here, right now. That is the main difference that actually can decide between success and failure when we are talking about visualization. So the difference will be appreciated if you will now visualize yourself climbing a ladder. Then with eyelids closed, imagine that ladder is right in front of you and feel yourself actually climbing it. Feeling is the secret. Nothing to do with emotions, but you feel it real, right? And therefore, because you feel it real, you get the feeling of the wish fulfilled because you just experienced that. Same as when you now imagine that you hold a rose in your hand and you can smell it. You get this feeling of the wish fulfilled, which means you felt it real and you're relaxed because you know, oh yeah, I just experienced that and I will encounter a rose also in my day-to-day life, right? Nothing to do with emotions. Don't think that you have to put any emotions or euphoric feelings into that. It's more so to experience it like you would actually really experience it in this world. And you visualize it, you can see it through your own eyes, not from a distance, right? And this ladder experiment that Neville's talking about here is a great way to play with your imagination, to test out your imagination. It's like the ladder exercise where you actually just imagine that you climb a ladder and therefore you manifest a ladder to build your faith if you're like a little bit new to this. So this is also a wonderful thing that I did years back to prove that this works. And I pointed out some pictures to illustrate to you how this looks like. Okay, so what we're seeing right here in those 2 examples, that's the wrong way, right? You do not visualize yourself and see your own body with, for example, your car, or when you do this ladder experiment, it's not that you see yourself climbing the ladder. That is wrong. You don't want to do that, right? That is like not the visualization kind of type that Neville's talking about in his lectures and his teachings, and that didn't work for me as well. However, the right way is when you imagine yourself being actually behind the steering wheel and you maybe see your hand, you see the steering wheel, you look out of the window and you can see the road. Or when you climb the ladder, you can see your hands, you feel with your feet that you climb higher and higher, right? That is how visualization actually works. You visualize as though you are seeing it through your own eyes. You imagine yourself into this state where you actually experience that, and then you use the sense of seeing, right, visualization, in order to see it right here, right now, as if it would happen right here, right now. That is the important part. So experience has taught me to restrict the imaginary action which implies fulfillment of desire, to condense the idea to a single act, and to reenact it over and over again until it has the feeling of reality. He says that his own experience, and you have to remember that Neville wrote 10 books. Neville taught this to many students, and many people learned from him, and he had many people that he talked with. So his experience is not only from himself, but also from his students. And he says that this experience has taught him to restrict the thing that you imagine, that you visualize, that implies the end for you, to one single act. You don't visualize a 10-minute scene, right? You just ask yourself, what would imply that this is true? Stick with that. This is really easy, okay? What would imply that I already have my desire? Who would smile at me, right? What would I see? What would be, like, what would I see differently? And then you just see it in your imagination when you go for the visualization, right? And you experience that in your imagination until it feels real. That is why it's so important to condense it to this one single act and not to really long one, because like I said, if you do that, then your attention will wander off and you will then think about this, and then this image is coming up, and oh yeah, this can also happen, and this, and then it's more like a long mind movie. But this has nothing to do with a mind movie. You want to have a little condensed imaginative experience. Again, it's not something outside of you. It is a real experience within consciousness that you have right now, that is real, that takes place and happens right here, right now, and therefore you are instantly internally into the state of the wish fulfilled. Like you shift into that, and that is all that counts. So really important aspect as well. And it is important always to remember that the proposed action must be one which follows, right, as I always say, the fulfillment of your desire, one which implies fulfillment. For example, suppose you desired promotion in office, then being congratulated would be an event you would encounter following the fulfillment of your desire. And when you imagine, for example, that congratulation, you can like imagine shaking the hand, like you can see it. You can also bring in next to that the sense of feeling. Then you see the hand shake you, and you also feel that the hand shakes you. Or you can, again, like use only seeing, and you only see the smile in that person's face, because you know that this specific person would only smile at you when you have already achieved your goal. And then you get the power of this. Having selected this action as the one you will experience in imagination to imply promotion in office, immobilize your physical body and induce a state bordering on sleep, a drowsy state, but one which you are still able to control the direction of your thoughts, a state in which you are attentive without effort. Okay, and I also made an entire video on the state akin to sleep. I will link this here so that it's easier for you to imagine, right? You can imagine your whole day, and you can visualize throughout the day, you can hear congratulations throughout the day, you can revise throughout the day, you can do this anywhere, anytime you want. However, it's sometimes just easier for some goals where you need to focus your attention, train your attention a little bit if you do it in this state akin to sleep. That's why Neville is recommending us to do it. And then visualize a friend standing before you. Put your imaginary hand into his. Feel it to be solid and real. And carry on an imaginary conversation with him in harmony with the feeling of having been promoted, right? That is one example. So powerful, right? Really, really powerful. And if you combine this, right, if you combine the understanding that your imagination is real and that you can bring in whatever senses you like to play with. Some people, again, they like to hear. Some people like to hear and see. Other people only like to see. That is when this video is really beneficial for you. But the main thing is that we want to bring it in the here now. Experience it here now. Don't see ourselves from like a distance point of view, but we want to be in that scene, and you want to look through your own eyes and actually have that experience. That is like the main goal, and that's basically it for this video, guys. So I hope that this made sense, right? I hope that by now you have a better understanding of visualization and that this is a great tool to shift you in the state of the wish fulfilled, which is the main goal, which is then when the manifestation is going to take place and you start to see those changes in your reality. So play with that, see if this resonates with you. If not, watch the video about congratulation that I linked before, or try any other techniques in the video that I also linked in this one called How to Manifest Your Desires, right? There are many different ways. That's why you have to try and apply so much to find out your own way. And then you get better at your own way, right? You water your own grass. That is when real results continuously over and over again come in and you're not worrying about, oh, can I manifest this? Like, oh, is this possible? Is this really possible? You will know it from your own wisdom, from your own experience. And that is really awesome and powerful. No one can take this away. And there can be other people that say, yeah, but you have to do this. And you be like, you don't care about them because you know what works for you. And then what does it matter what the world says, right? If you have proven it to yourself. So thank you really much for watching, guys. I look forward to see comments or any suggestions on other videos that you wish on my channel. And with that, I speak to you in the next video. Bye, guys.